It's the time. The film Bend It Like Beckham, about a British Indian girl who dreams of becoming a footballer, was released 20 years ago this week.
20 years. Since then, the profile of women's football has hugely increased and participation among players of South Asian heritage is also on the rise.
Miriam Walker Khan has made a documentary about the film called Bend It Like Beckham. 20 years on, we can see some of it now.
Wonder if I had an arranged marriage, would I get someone who'd let me play football whenever I wanted?
Whom are you talking to?
Bend It Like Beckham was a huge success and it made history as the highest grossing film about football.
There are so many elements of it that are still true today.
The film actually gave me a little bit of clarity on where I wanted to go with my life.
I was like, this is me on screen. She's found her people. Maybe I can find my people.
Rosie Committer, the first South Asian woman to play in the WSL. You're kind of like a real-life Jasminder, aren't you?
I might put that in my bio, Mim.
What's crazy is that Jasminder was probably, for a lot of South Asian girls, the only role model that looked like us and was from the same background, and she wasn't real, which is sad.
Yeah, it is sad. It is sad. And when you think about that, the fact that we had to really use our imagination in that sense and look at a film and think, oh, okay, that is possible, but it was a film, right? Whereas now, you can look at the likes of, I don't know, myself, Maz, who plays at Aston Villa at the moment. You can now see it, and I think that's the beauty of the difference that we've seen 20 years on.
That's right, John. Could Jess Bamra be the answer to England's prayers? Alan?
Crikey, I look a lot younger.
Quick thinking, comfortable on the ball. I tell you what, I wish he was playing for Scotland.
Yeah, I think I overacted a little bit. When I did it, I can't remember why I said yes, because I kind of turned down a lot of things like that normally, but I think I did like the script and thought it was quite cute and funny. But I never imagined it would be the success that it obviously was.
This film kind of brings up all those issues of identity and feeling like you don't quite fit in there, but you don't quite fit in there either. And so I think that's what's timeless about it.
In a way, it's sad that it's still relatable to today's world, like 20 years later, but it's also, it's the concept of pushing for women's football, pushing that it shouldn't be women's football, it should just be football in general.
I want to play professionally.
Wow, can you do that? I mean, as a job like?
Sure. Not really here, but you can in America.
One of the best things about watching the film now is looking at the development of women's football in this country. Now we're seeing all the best American players come here and play in our league. What's that like for you as women's football fans to see that?
Where women's football is right now, with the WSL being one of the few fully professional leagues in the whole entire world, it is such an exciting time for women's football.
Well, delighted to say we're joined by football coach Ali Speechley and Blackburn Rovers midfielder Millie Chandarana, who was inspired by Bend It Like Beckham. And also we can say hello to Gurinder Chadha as well, who directed the movie. Lovely to see you all this morning. We were just saying, Millie, you were just 5 when the movie first came out, so you didn't see it then 20 years ago, but a few years later.
So I was 5 when it came out, but I think I was 8 or 9 when I first saw it, because that was the first time it was aired on TV,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure. And funnily enough, actually, that was the first time I actually went into my first girls team as well, my local girls team. So it kind of just spiralled from there.
And was your experience anything like the experience of the lead camera in that character in that movie, or was your family kind of fully behind you doing this?
Yeah, well, actually, I'm half Indian and I'm half white English as well. So it kind of brought them two cultures not only together, but it kind of brought football involved with it as well. So it was really relatable for me, really. I think the only difference is the main character in the film supported United. I support City.
Oh.
So Ali, you're a football coach.
Yeah.
So you know all about, trying to inspire young players, young girls to get involved in the sport. Did it make a big difference?
Yeah, definitely. So I was a bit older when the film came out. I was 19 and I was studying film and literature at uni at the time. And I was obsessed with identity. I'm part Indian as well. My dad's Indian and my mum's half Italian. So that kind of mixture of cultures, as Millie said, was really pertinent to me as well. as a football coach, so I coach in a girls' academy, and I also coach for an amazing organisation called Goals for Girls, which uses football to engage and empower young women from deprived backgrounds. And we feel really strongly that if she can see it, she can believe it, and if she can believe it, she can achieve it. And I think this film really speaks to that.
Tell you what, Gurinder, must be. I mean, I dare say it's not the first time you've heard people saying that, but it must be lovely to know. A, you made a great film, number one, but B, it had that kind of impact.
It's amazing. I can't even tell you. I mean, when I was at school, my careers teacher told me when I wanted to go to university, she said, "Oh, I think you need to go to secretarial college," you know. And I was like, what? So right from a very young age, people had always told me what I should do without listening to what I wanted to do. So I just pushed and pushed and pushed and finally got the film made. And now it's wonderful to see how inspiring it's been for so many others. So I've got a lot to thank that career teacher for.
I can't believe, we were saying, both of us saying this earlier, 20 years ago now. Did you have any idea at the time that it would have the impact it did?
Not at all. I mean, I thought that my cousins would like it, and friends, and maybe a few cool people in New York. And Bargee on the Beach had been kind of a cult hit in America.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought it would be a cult sort of thing. I did expect it to be as mainstream as it was, and it just took off in a huge way, and I think there were lots of reasons for that. But mainly, I think you had the whole Cool Britannia thing had happened, and Britain was reinventing itself as this sort of cool, youthful, sort of diverse nation. Ian Wright had come onto a football pitch wearing a Union Jack, which was amazing, had never really been seen before. So that sparked my interest in national identity. But also, the day of my premiere, actually before the premiere, I remember when we were qualifying for the World Cup, it was England v Greece, and David Beckham curled one in, like, woo! And I was like, oh yes, what perfect advertising for me. But even better than that, on the day of the premiere, David Beckham was supposed to come down and walk the carpet, the red carpet in Leicester Square. But that night he played a game, and he broke his foot, if you remember. So the next day, all the papers were like, mend it like Beckham, or break it like Beckham. So and all these things conspired, I think, to make it sort of be part of the national conversation and national history now.
Well, it certainly is. Ali, have you got any questions for Gurinder? Because, I mean, maybe, I don't know if you haven't spoken before, have you?
No. Hi, Gurinder. Amazing to meet you.
Oh.
I guess the question would be how you feel about the film now. Rachel was just saying she feels like we need a Bend It Like Beckham too, but I think it was very much of its time, and I just wonder how you feel about how the film feels in 2022.
Well, I think the film, as you say, still feels very relevant. It hasn't really aged, except they don't have mobile phones, basically. But the themes are all still very relevant, and girls are still being sort of told what they can and can't do, and what they should aim for and not aim for. So in that sense, I think it's very relevant. But also, it's great to see how many Asian girls there are who now take football very seriously. But also, I was pleased to hear that the women's football champions, the American team, every single one of them said they got into soccer or football after watching the film. So I just think that it just keeps going, you know, and there's more young kids. My friend Safraz, who wrote Blinded by the Light with me, he told me that his little niece has seen the film 5 times, and she's only about 9. So, like, I think that there's something about being seen on screen, you know, and your life on screen and your people around you on screen that really validates your life and your experiences and allows you to sort of laugh at them but also be moved by them and be seen and be heard. And that's why I think the film stands up to time, and why we're all talking about it 20 years later. I mean, I'm just shocked at the amount of interest on social media. And in fact, my son, who's 14, came up to me yesterday and said, "Mum, look at this on TikTok. It's got 7,000 likes and all this." And normally I'm not a very cool person to my son, but this time he was like, "Oh, Mum."
You've broken through to TikTok. Do you know what, Millie? I think that actually a lot. So I've got a 12-year-old who plays football, 12-year-old girl. Every Saturday they're on a pitch with hundreds of other young girls playing football, and I think they are benefiting from the legacy of this without really knowing about it. She has seen it, my daughter. I've sat her down and made her watch it. But the girls' football scene is absolutely thriving in this country at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's amazing to see, you know. I think from where it was 20 years ago to now, it's accelerated massively.
And the standard of play is unbelievable.
Definitely. Like we just saw the Americans coming into the WSL. Even in the Championship, the second league of England, the standard is incredible. You know, you've got some of the best players in the country playing in that league, and it's just great to see not only girls participating in the sport but also excelling in the sport and having careers out of it, being able to make careers out of it as well.
Millie, how's your season going?
It's been good so far. I really enjoyed it being back at Blackburn. It was my childhood club and now I've returned, so yeah, it's been great so far. Hopefully next season we can kick on even further.
And Ali, just finally, what do you think England's women's chances are in the Euros this summer?
Oh, it's coming home, isn't it? It's got to come home. I mean, it is coming home. I think what an opportunity to showcase the talent in this country on home soil. Got to bring it home.
Lovely to see you all here this morning. Thank you so much. Millie and Ali. Gurinder, thank you. Lovely to see you this morning.
Thank you.
And Bend It Like Beckham, 20 years on, is available on BBC iPlayer from 2:30 today.